stage. So I'm gonna try it again. Good morning, everyone. I like it. I'm so excited to be here. This is my third time speaking at the Digital Discipleship Conference, and surprisingly, they brought me back. I'll tell you a little bit about who I am and what my story is. So, in 2008, I was teaching at a high school, Great Lakes Adventist Academy, and while teaching at that high school, I got an itch. I wanted to do something more because my dream was to be a university professor. The problem was I didn't have a PhD. And it's kind of hard to be a university professor without a PhD. So what I decided to do, I was learning about online marketing and blogging and so on. And I had started a blog before, but I said to myself, well, what if I were to take the stuff that I was learning about blogging and apply it to something that I was passionate about? I wanted to be a university professor teaching physiology and neurobiology and those kinds of topics. So I said, I'm going to start a blog, and the blog is going to be about those topics. So I started that blog in 2009, actually, and that blog grew really quickly. I started making all kinds of content about biology and neurobiology and so on and so forth, and it just went kind of crazy. The video started getting hundreds of views, and then thousands of views, then tens of thousands of views, then hundreds of thousands of views, and then in the millions, which just blew my mind. Fast forward a little while, in 2011, I got invited to apply for a job as a university professor. Now, it didn't make any sense because I don't have a PhD. This would be in a doctoral program, so I'd be teaching people that are getting their PhDs, and I am super unqualified for it. But I had one thing going for me. A blog, a biology blog. So I remember going in to apply for the position, and I met with the chair of the department, and he was kind of like, so why are you here? This doesn't really make sense. And I told him, hey, you know, I'm applying for this job, I'm not qualified, and I just wanted to show you some of the things that I'm working on. And I showed him the blog. I'm gonna fast forward to make the story very short, but I got the job as a university professor in a doctoral program teaching anatomy. I never took anatomy. Teaching pathophysiology. I never took pathophysiology. Wow. Teaching neuroscience. I had a neurobiology background because that's what I did my my master's degree in. But totally unqualified. But I had a blog. Yeah! All you guys working on your PhDs. All you needed was a blog. No, okay, maybe not. I'm very pro-education, so don't take that the wrong way. Anyhow, what I was able to see was the power of blogging and social media and so on to accomplish something that is bigger than we thought we could accomplish. And I started to evolve over time. Eventually I decided, because that job was my dream job, being a university professor, but eventually my wife and I decided it was time to leave that job and just do blogging full time. Because what had happened was, we had our first child, Noah. You probably saw him running around and jumping on everything. That's my son. He got it from his mother. She's not in here, right? Oh, she's outside? Yeah, he got it from his mother, and
it's being recorded.
We realized that there was just too much going on in life, and I needed more balance. So I left that job to be a full-time blogger, and started really getting into blogging, started really getting into social media marketing. I became the head of training for Social Media Examiner, which is the world's largest resource for social media marketers. Basically helping marketers to learn how to stay on the leading edge of social media. Now, in the process, I got very fascinated with social media and what it can allow us to accomplish. It got me a dream job. It got me, it helped me to build my business to where I can do this full time. But I started wondering, what else can it do? How else can I be effective with social media? And can I really use it to stimulate really meaningful discussions? Now I want to ask you a question. What are some of the topics you should never talk about on social media?
Religion.
Politics and religion. That's the first two things that people always say. But I challenge that notion. I challenge that notion that religion is not something to talk about. But what we see often, is that when we talk about religion on social media, this is what happens, right? There's a fighting match. I'm right. No, I'm right. You're wrong. And yada, yada, yada. And what comes out of it? How many times have you seen someone post a very, strong statement and someone says, you know what, you're right. I was wrong all my life. Everything that I believe is no longer valid. You are right. How many people have seen that discussion happen on social media? So then what's the point? So should we even have these conversations on social media? And my answer to that question is yes. But maybe we should change how we have these conversations. So what does that look like? So this is a friend of mine, Colin. Colin and I started online business back in 2008 together, and we met each other doing online business. And over the years, we've had many conversations. We've become really close friends, and we talk on a near daily basis. Now, when we talk, it's not usually about something spiritual. It's just about life. It's about business, primarily, and just about life in general. And over time, we've established a very close relationship. My wife calls Colin my second wife. Which is kind of weird, kind of awkward, but I'm not going to go there. Over the years, our relationship has grown to the point where now we start having a different type of conversation, where we start talking about more spiritual stuff and more things about religion and so on. But the reason that was able to happen was because of the relationship that we established over time. It started online, but then it kind of grew, and we started to connect in a deeper way, leading to some of those discussions. And I think that's kind of a model for how we can engage on social media in a way that allows us to have some of these meaningful dialogues. So I want to walk you through 7 steps to meaningful dialogue on social media. These are 7 very simple steps that any of you can take, and it's something that I've been experimenting with over the last few years, and I think it can really help us to move past some of the issues that we've been having with conversations about religion, spirituality, and even politics on social media. So let's see what that looks like. Step number 1, decide who you are and what you stand for. I know this sounds very simple, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I already know who I am and what I stand for. But do you really, as it relates to social media? When I think about who I am and what I stand for, I am a man that loves my family. I'm a man that loves my God. I'm a man that doesn't take life too seriously, because I think, you can have fun. But I'm a man that also takes life very seriously, because I believe that we're all placed on this earth for a specific reason, and it's important for us to take that very seriously. I'm a man that likes to have fun. I'm a man that's kind of laid back. I'm a man that, these are some of the things that define who I am. And when it relates to social media, these are some of the things that I share about myself on social media. All right? Now, this is the first step. Really sit back and say, who am I? What do I stand for? On social media, I never post negative things. Why? Because that's not what I stand for when it comes to what I want to share with the world. I'm not going to go on social media and tear someone down. That is not who I am. All right? So, number 1, decide who you are and what you stand for. Number 2, show the real you. This is a lot of people want to do ministry online and on social media, so what they do is every post that they post is something like, Jesus is great, here's a text from the Bible, such and such. Now, there's nothing wrong with posting these things, but when you look at someone's at some of these news feeds, what you end up seeing is, like, if that were real life, you'd just be someone walking around with a poster saying these things about the Bible, sharing Bible text. Do you do that in real life? Is there more to you than just sharing quotes? Absolutely. So you can share the real you, and maybe it's not you you're thinking about. Maybe it's your ministry. Maybe it's your organization. Well, there's more than just that one little part of who you are. Show the real you. I'll give you some examples of some of the things that I post on social media. As soon as this moves, I will give you those examples. It's coming. All right, here we go. Just finished my morning workout. I'm sweating. He is flexing. That's me and my son. And we just finished our beach body exercise. Our family breakfast. We have Sabbath breakfast in the morning on Sabbath. I make the breakfast and we just have a good time eating with each other. Do you see it? My son and I, my wife and my daughter. Do you guys see it? Do we kind of look alike? I'm just sharing different things about me and my life and all that stuff. I am someone that is very into wooden items. My watch is made out of wood. My sunshades is wood. My bow tie, my watch over there, all wooden items. Is this relevant to life? Well, yeah, it's me. Is it simple? Is it silly? Yeah, but it's me. That's what you get. This is a picture when I was teaching at a university and I was giving out exams and we didn't have a babysitter for Noah. So that's him strapped onto me. That's just life. Thank you. You guys got the cue. Good job, good job. All right, that's just life. That's just who I am. Let's move on to step number... Oh, this is a great example. Ty Gibson. Early in our marriage, Sue struck a deal with me. You make all the big decisions for us. She said, like, who should be president, yada, yada, yada. I was like, wow, baby, you're fine with me having all the power? Absolutely, she said. You're handsome, amazing, smart man. Just today I asked for permission to buy a pair of shoes. It finally dawned on me that the girl played me all those years ago. I just love that. It's just reality. It is life, and it is real. All right? Number 3, stimulate low-level engagement. Low-level engagement. What do I mean by that? I mean simple things that don't take a lot of energy for people to respond to. So what is your favorite non-alcoholic beverage? Water doesn't count. 274 comments. People just sharing what their favorite beverage is. Why is it low level? Because they don't have to think a lot in order to make it happen. As a child, what did you want to be when you grow up? Let's see. Pull out your camera and take a pic of what you're doing right now. It doesn't take a lot of thought. What is the rationale behind this? The rationale behind this is when I get all of this engagement on this simple stuff, the Facebook algorithm is going to see that these people want to engage with me. And what is the Facebook going to start doing? Showing more of my stuff. Stimulate low-level engagement. Airbnb, great example. What do you prefer, pool or beach? Is that easy to answer? How many say pool? How many say beach? Very simple. Doesn't take a lot to answer those questions. Step number 4, sprinkle in high-level engagement. All right, so from time to time, having those deeper questions to stimulate discussions, you want to sprinkle that in a way that makes sense. What book besides the Bible have had the biggest spiritual impact on your life? Friday night question. I've always heard that the church is a place for sinners. Let's see. Do you think of an environment, when you think of the church, do you think of an environment where you are free to be yourself completely? Now, that takes a little more thought. All right? I want to show you one more example of this, because some of these difficult conversations are hard to have on social media, right? Look at this one. This week's question. The 6th commandment says, thou shalt not kill. However, actually, let's move to the next one in the essence of time, because there's one that I really want to... All right. Basically asking, why do you go to church on the day that you go to church? I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, and according to what I believe, we should go, the Sabbath is on Saturday. What do you believe and why? 212 comments. Now, what was interesting about this conversation is, this was the first time I've ever seen non-Adventists and Adventists really engage around that question. I want to show you some of the responses. We gather for corporate worship on Sunday to celebrate Christ's resurrection. Connie says, just like Ashley. And I respond, that is very interesting. I think it's a good idea to celebrate the resurrection, but is there biblical support for that? Conversation continues. Cecile here saying, thank you so much for this very mentally stimulating discussion. I've genuinely enjoyed reading different interpretations. I've learned a great deal from the different perspectives. Love your Friday night questions. They always get me thinking. The conversation that came from that were absolutely amazing. Then adjust your ratio. As you start getting more and more people engaging, you can start getting more of those higher level questions in the mix. Step number 6, create themes. This is a very simple thing that can be very significant. As you've seen in some of the examples that I've shown, these are my Friday night questions. In other words, I ask these questions every Friday night, and people started to expect it. Another thing that my wife and I was doing a while back is Friday night music. In this example, we just take requests. You have hymns that you want us to sing, we're going to perform it right there on the spot. It was a theme that we did every single week. And the last step is be consistent. You know, myself too, I have this problem every so often. I start with something and then I don't continue it on. But by doing this on a consistent basis, you're going to train your followers, your friends, to engage with you at a deeper level. I want to show you one more thing, and I'm going to jump here to a conversation that happened as a result of my conversations online. Just wanted to say, even though I don't get into these religious conversations, especially publicly, I have no desire for it. But I will say that you are and have consistently been the only Christian I've ever encountered who has lived what Christians are supposed to be. I've been mistreated, judged, hated my whole life by people claiming to be the love of Christianity. You do none of it even while arguing about the issues. Just wanted to say that. This, to me, is the ultimate goal of what we're trying to do when it comes to our online presence. So the key is just be real. Yeah, that's it. Be real. Thank you so much for your time. Have an awesome rest of the day.